Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to day 1 of the Simplify Your Life challenge. It's a 30-day challenge, but we're going to be doing it over 30 plus weeks because that's the schedule that I have to keep to. This is inspired by Muchelleb. She has an ebook. You can purchase it. I will link everything below. So feel free to just, grab that and do this at your own pace. This is my personal journey. You do it at the speed and pace that you need to do it. And also, shout out to Muchelleb because this is her plan, not mine. If you want more info on kind of what this is and why I'm doing it and what the schedule is, there is a previous video to this one that was a little intro. So please feel free to watch that or just jump right in and follow along with me. With that, let's get right into day 1. So day 1 is to set your intentions for this challenge. This plan has a bunch of checklists and questions and things to follow along with every day, and those are in the ebook. I will include some to all of them on the screen. I'm not going to include all of it because it's, purchased content from another creator, so you can purchase her ebook or go to her channel and watch her videos, which I will link, to get the full sampling of things. I'm just going to talk through some stuff and kind of give you the questions and kind of talk about my answers or what happened. And you can follow along from there if you want the ebook. The link is in the down bar. Okay, let's get right into that and talk through some of the questions. So question 1 is, why are you doing this challenge? So one of the things that Michelle suggests you do is get a notebook. Here is mine, to basically write out your answers, right? Be mindful about why you're doing this before you start doing it. So I spent a lot of time with my notebook writing out some answers to some of the things. I'm a few days ahead. This is more than one day. I am verbose, but not quite that bad. But let me just tell you kind of my answer to this so that you know why I'm on this journey and why I'm doing this. So basically, I've spent a few years now being kind of generally discontent with my life. A lot of this stems from my work situation where I feel like I've been stuck in one place for a while, and although I'm hustling pretty hard, I'm not really getting anywhere. This has led me to turn to things in my personal life, like new things I want to learn because I think it will somehow help me, or old hobbies I always meant to get more into, but I didn't. And most of all, trying to make myself feel like I somehow had status and importance that I was craving, but I wasn't getting at work. This led to me buying things, basically. And it's an old story, right? It's the same ideas we've all heard before. And that's the reason I initially started this channel. Packages showing up at my door give me something to look forward to. My trainers or new clothes or new makeup or brand labels make me feel like I'm somehow better. Like I'm a better person, better than people who didn't have those things, which I know is ridiculous, but it is how my brain works. It's just like part of my personality type. I've always been that way, and I've tried to change it. I get it. Don't compare yourself to other people. It's not really how I work. I'm working on it, and that's part of what we're going to do in this challenge. But right now, that's where we're at. Especially during a global pandemic. This was the one thing in my life that I had to look forward to. I couldn't leave my house. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't have experiences. I couldn't travel. The only thing that I used to do that was interesting was go to the grocery store, and I wasn't even really doing that. So fast forward to now, and I'm really still discontent for other reasons, as well as work. And I basically have too much stuff. And although I do use and love most of it in some way, I have too much of it. And I'm drifting and feeling unfocused. I keep thinking about moving somewhere and getting a new start. And then the idea of hauling all of this with me is not an appealing one. Plus, as the price of everything increases, as it's doing, my paychecks are still not really increasing. And so I'm not the sort of person who needs to be constantly traveling the world or going here or doing this or vacation or holiday or whatever. But the idea of not having to feel like I'm saving nothing at all from each paycheck towards my still very unfocused goals has been really frustrating. And what I need in my life is less stuff, more time, and more clarity around what it is that I actually want to do and achieve. So I'm hoping that I can use this time, this year, this program to actually refocus and figure out how I want to live and then make a plan to get there. Question 2. How do you want to feel when you've completed the challenge? I want to feel like I have clarity around my goals and like I'm at least on a path that leads me towards a plan to make them happen. I really want to feel happier with my space and less like I need things to define me, and figure out what in my life really makes me happy, not just the temporary spike of happiness I feel when something comes in the mail. What makes me content and yet ready to push for more? Because contentment is one thing, but I'm a person that always needs to be working towards the next thing up here. What's the next step forward? What's the next highest step? So it can't just be contentment, because contentment is discontentment to me. It needs to be contentment and this and what's next in a reasonable way, if that makes sense. Question 3. What might stop you from completing the challenge and how will you overcome it? This is an easy question, friends. Time. Between work and all of my unfocused hobbies and other pursuits, I feel like I barely have time to make progress on anything. That's one of the reasons that I'm undertaking this challenge, because the best way for me to overcome this time limitation is to focus on this challenge, to make this my main priority in my life outside of work for a little while. And if I tell myself that after this challenge is done, I'll have a better idea of which things I want to tackle next, that makes it easier for me to put everything else on hold and think of this challenge as making a plan to do the rest and then moving on to all of these other things that I say I want to do in my life. I want to accomplish. I want to learn. I want this. Well, let's prioritize them by prioritizing this. Question 4. When will you set aside time to complete each challenge? Okay. Full disclosure, for the first week, I'm hoping to do as much of the physical decluttering of this as I can. I like to start my year, or end my year really, because it's currently December 27th, by quite literally getting my house in order. It's become kind of a tradition for me to take the last week of the year off from work and do all of the cleaning and decluttering things that I always say I'll get to sometime, but I never do, so that I can start the new year in what is hopefully an organized and clean space. And then after that, I'll probably take on 1 or 2 of these a week, because I'm documenting this for YouTube. I'm hoping you all might want to follow along with this. So I'm hoping to put out a video a week or every other week at a minimum. Since weekly videos and my schedule are not often compatible, I'll do my best. But primarily I'll be prioritizing completing these challenges, kind of 1 each on a Saturday or Sunday. And then the videos will come out hopefully Thursdays. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to do my best. So those are today's focus questions. The next 2 steps on this list in the ebook are to do your laundry, because tomorrow is wardrobe declutter day. Get everything ready, wash things, make sure as many of your clothing items are clean as possible. You want to be able to go through everything. So you don't want to have things hiding in the laundry that you missed. Get everything that you possibly can clean and ready to go. And then step 3 for today is celebrate yourself. Michelle B's got a really good kind of philosophy on this, that you can get your brain to crave these kind of success feelings, right? This is kind of a surrogate for what makes me happy. Well, I cleaned out a bunch of stuff and I did a lot of work and that's amazing. Or I set a whole bunch of intentions for this challenge and my year and I already took the first step towards getting things in order. That's great. Celebrate that. I'm going to celebrate me. this is a great day. I had a great win. I accomplished these things. Let's celebrate that. If you get the ebook, Michelle B has a whole starter list of cool things you can do to celebrate yourself, and you can just figure out what makes you happy and take a minute to celebrate you because you're awesome. That's it for day 1. We will be back with day 2, which is decluttering your wardrobe. So make sure that you have clicked the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get a notification of when the next one of these videos comes up. Thumbs up if you are loving this content, thumbs down if you're like, eh, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.